Has been in charge of reviving high streets, equivalent of being the minister in charge of blockbuster video. It's times just move on. Well, Kate Hardcastle joins us now, a consumer and retail expert. Hi, Kate.
Hi, good morning.
My high street's changing massively. I bought a flat a couple of years ago, and this is anecdotal, Kate, so you can correct it.
Is this with the winnings from the big bet?
Yeah, no. That bought me the castle in Wales. What's happened is places that would sell sportswear are have closed down, and they've been replaced with juice shops and coffee shops and healthier eating fast food stores, things that you still genuinely travel to for a form of experience. People doing a lot more work outside of the office now. Working from home is growing and growing, and from home means coffee shops, and productivity goes up that way. The world's changing so much. Is this indicative of the average high street? Is this the way you want all high streets to go?
The world's changing, and the retail sector and some of the offers within our traditional high streets just haven't changed quickly enough. I think initially there was a denial of the power of online. Yes. I think there was a misunderstanding that online was just about discount, where people actually just chose it because it was a better offer from what they were receiving in traditional retail. They didn't necessarily want to shop online. They just were fed up with the saturation of the 9 till 5:30 bland retail that was generally on offer in our very vanilla high streets.
Yeah, totally
so
right.
We've got to do more. And the action points that were mentioned in the report you've just highlighted, the Timpson report, which is the latest one, the Porter's report just 8 years ago, are very sensible. But we actually have to get on with it now. Mm-hmm. And that means that stakeholders all have to talk, because there's not just one area that's responsible for this. We've got a government high streets minister who, out of interest, is also the Northern Powerhouse minister and also in charge of his own constituency. So that's quite a big job list. We've got the local authorities who say they're very cash poor at the moment and time poor, and they've got a lot of things to try and organise and be responsible for, and high streets are just one of them. We've got the landlords themselves who've had a nice living recently from rents, but it's becoming more challenging as their retailers sort of try to get out of contracts. We've got the retailers themselves, who some are absolutely brilliant and wonderful and vibrant and are keeping our high streets going, not so much on some others. The people who don't want to use them, the people who actually work and live there. So everyone's responsible, and there's not enough communication in all of the wide group to be able to make the change happen. And when you do see green shoots, when you see these brilliant little high streets that pop up and you go into it and go, right, okay, let's take this apart and understand what made it work, it tends to be a lot of people locally doing quite brilliant things very selflessly.
Kate, I just want to applaud you for giving such a long and detailed answer at this time in the morning. I need a sip of coffee every 2 lines. You must have been up from like 4 a.m. to cover all that. And our show is better.
Young children.
Our show's better for it. It's interesting because take vinyl as an example of something that got lost in modern trends. When people started using their phones to download music, there's a reason why there's an increase in vinyl, because we underestimate young people. We assume that it's vacuous and it's all about surface and no feeling. And that was a deliberate Manic Street Preachers reference when mentioning vinyl. But actually, the migrating back towards the experience is what has seen as mini revival in vinyl, and seen it save some shops and National Record, and it becomes a scene. That experience doesn't exist when you're queuing in a mainstream clothes shop. Nobody wants to go. No one's saying, I miss the experience of queuing. I miss the experience of it taking an hour and a half to buy socks. And that's the problem. And listen, if I could click my fingers and keep every single company in business, every single retail shop in business, there has to be a massive change in the high street, whether it be more residential housing, whether it be those experiences that we still do seek, coffee and meetings in those places, and affordable food in restaurants, which the more there are, the more competition. There's no turning this back, is there, Kate, towards the way it used to be? Does the government need a realisation of there's no turning back the clock?
Absolutely right. You know, I'm going to take your Mannix reference and raise you with a Simon and Garfunkel one, which is it's about keeping the customer satisfied. And honestly, that's not just for retail, that's for what place needs to do or community. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. You can't say, okay, we want everything to be the same. Our high streets were allowed to become very vanilla, one size fits all. It had to have this brand of coffee shop and this brand of fashion. Whereas really, they should have been about celebrating the identity of local. We know that groups of independents working together are quite appealing. People like a local face to a coffee shop, juice bar. We know we need more residential there. We've actually just got to get on with it. And for that, there needs funding, time, and responsibility and authority being involved in that. But also, if you want someone, you know, something, a place for people to go, your children to go, we've also got to be a little bit responsible for it too. And yes, we shouldn't have to queue half an hour for socks, but if you don't use your local high streets, you will, of course, lose them.
Thank you, Kate, for joining us and being so awake.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
It's
it.
lovely to speak to you.
Have a good day. Take care.